Yeah, that's better. Okay, shall we start? Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So we'll chant the Dhyana shlokas and then half of the stotram in the beginning for first 5 verses and the rest of the 5 verses at the end of the class. And I think we'll do that together. Om Mauna Vyakya Prakatita Parabrahma Tattvam Yuvanam Varshistante Vasat Vishaganai Avritam Brahmanishtai Acharyendram Karakalita Chinmutramanandarupam Swatma Ramam Mudita Vadanam Dakshinamurtimide Vatavitapi Samipe Bhumi Bhage Nishannam Sakalamuni Jananam Jnanadataramara Tribhuvana Gurumisham Dakshinamurti Devam Janana Marana Dukkha Cheda Daksham Namami Chitram Vatatarornuve Vriddha Shishya Gurur Yuva Gurostu Maunam Vyakhyanam Shishyastu Chinna Samshaya Nidhaye Sarva Vidyanam Bhishaje Bhavaroginam Gurave Sarva Lokanam Dakshinamurtaye Namah. Om Namah Pranavarthaya Shuddha Jnanaikamurtaye Nirmalaya Prashantaya Dakshinamurtaye Namah. Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Yomavat Vyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. Om Vishwam Darpana Dishyamana Nagari Tulyam Nijantargatam Pasyanatmani Mayaya Bahirivod Bhutam Yatha Nidraya Yat Sakshat Kurute Prabodha Samaye Swatmanamevadvayam Tasmai Shri Guru Murtaye Namaidam Shri Dakshinamurtaye Bijasyantarivānkuro Jagadidam Prāṅ Nirvikalpam Punaha Maya Kalpita Desha Kala Kalana Vaichitrya Chitri Kritam Maya Viva Vijrambhayatya Vimaha Yogi Vayasvechaya Tasmai Shri Guru Murtaye Namaidam Shri Dakshinamurtaye Yasyaiva Sphuranam Sadatmakam Asatkalparthakam Bhasate Sakshat Tattvamasiti Veda Vachasa Yo Bodhayatyashritan Yat Sakshat Karanat Bhavena Punara Vrittirbhavam Nidhau Tasmai Shri Guru Murtaye Namaidam Shri Dakshinamurtaye Nana Chitra Gatodharastita Maha Deepa Prabhabhaswaram Jnanam Yasya Tu Chakshuradikarana Dvara Bahispandate Janamiti Tameva Bhantamanubhati Etat Samastam Jagat Tasmai Shri Guru Murtaye Namaidam Shri Dakshinamurtaye Deham Pranamapi Indriyanapi Chalam Buddhim Cha Shunyam Viduhu Stri Balanda Jadopamastwamiti Bhranta Bhrisham Vadinaha Maya Shakti Vilasa Kalpitamaha Vyamoha Samharine Tasmai Shri Guru Murtaye Namahidam Shri Dakshinamurtaye. So last week we did the first verse, Vishwam Darpana Drishyamana Nagari Tulyam Nijantargatam Pashyan Atmani Mayaya Bahirivodbhutam Yatha Nidraya. Then the second part of the verse was Yat Sakshat Kurute Prabodha Samaye Swatmanam Evadvayam Tasmai Shri Guru Murtaye Namahidam Shri Dakshinamurtaye. And so the meaning that we had done there was just the sentence meaning that my namaskara to that Parameshwara, that Paramatma, who through the amazing power of the Maya, which has the ability to make the impossible possible. It doesn't look like it's possible, but it's possible. So, for instance, this is a great thing where there's a lot of other philosophies that feel that something triggers the Shrishti, the beginning of it, the Big Bang. So something must have happened. And we say really nothing happens. It is just natural. Just like you sleep and you wake up. So yeah, you can say that something woke you up in the morning, but it's a very natural phenomena. Nothing special about it. So in that sense, the Maya Shakti has the ability to express something which is inexpressible. Maybe we'll go into that more detail. So my namaskara to the Parameshwara, who through the powerful ability of the Maya, like the power of sleep as we saw, very powerful, it's not just an ordinary thing, it's a very, closing your eyes is ordinary. But in the closing of the eyes, you can partially give up some of the things that are happening to you. But really you are not completely disassociated from it. Like supposing you are closing your eyes and somebody comes from the side and touches you. And then you immediately get woken up. You say, yes, what did you want? But in sleep, amazing things happen. People can touch you and you don't know it. People can steal your wallet and you have no idea what's happening. So the sleep is a very powerful thing. And similarly, more so, which is Maya, if that gives us a kind of a false idea about the whole Jagat, then what is so strange about it? We'll talk more about that. So, one that makes the worldly experiences, including me, the experiences which is all inside, appear as though it is outside. And like a city reflected in a mirror. And while you are seeing this, upon understanding this phenomena, by directly experiencing oneself as being totally devoid of any parts of differences, to that Parameshwara, to that Shiva, who's the original teacher, who appears as my Vedantic teacher, my prostration. This was the tall, very long translation of it. So I have an idea of how I want to actually give it some thought as to how we are going to approach this whole course. And I think it should work out very well. So my challenge is to keep this in a contained fashion for about 40 weeks, where I cannot go into a lot of detail, and yet allow you, for those of you that are interested in going into the details, some references on how best to do so. This is what I think we can do, and I've figured out a way to do that. So what I'm going to do is to summarize the main concepts for each one of these verses, which I'll continue to do starting from today itself, or starting from last time also. But in my notes for the class, I will give you references if you want to proceed further. And these references that I'm going to give you are not just mine. They are not, you should have some assurance that there is an army of knowledge sitting behind me. So this is like the royal we. You know, when there is a, supposing there is an ambassador, let's say India and Pakistan are at war, and there is an ambassador who is deputed to talk to Pakistan and say, please tell them that don't mess with us. We are very strong, and we will really make life difficult for you. So what this fellow says is, we wish to communicate to you. So when he says we, he doesn't mean he and his family. He means the whole Army, Air Force, Navy, the government, that's a billion people. That's who he means by me, by we. So similarly, when I tell you this is the methodology I'm going to follow, it isn't just me. It is really a very meticulous methodology that has been handed out by some very smart people, really. And all I'm doing is just to communicate that to you. And in doing so, I must say, to communicate it to myself, because this is the joy of teaching. Swami Paramarthananda had expressed this to me about 15, 16 years, 17 years ago in 2002, when I had an audience with him in the Anaikati ashram. We spent an hour talking. And I just wanted to kind of give him. So he says, you know, please start teaching regularly, because the teacher learns more than the student, because you're so focused, and in the process, and his words are absolutely true. I have gained more than you have in clarifying my thoughts and so on. So when I say we will follow the methodology, I will also benefit from it. So the methodology I will follow is, I'm very lucky to follow this book, the Manasa Ullasa book in Hindi. So just like I gave you in the outline of the course, the central theme of each verse, remember that? All the 10 verses? He has now given, not now, he has given, which I had not really focused on. I knew about it, but in terms of deciding the methodology, I thought this would be a great thing. He has given the main topic of, so the first verse has 31 Manasa Ullasa verses. 31. So he has given about 16 topics that are covered by these 31 Manasa Ullasa verses. 16 topics, subtopics. Main topic is Atma Pratyak Swarupam. We already know that. So the subtopics are 16 of them. And so I will translate them in English as best as I can. And I will follow that outline so that we can have the entire first verse in about 3 or 4 classes. Already one class has already been allocated, so maybe I'll try to do that in 3 classes. And then the one last class I will do is to do a specific meditation on the first verse. Okay, that summarizes the key points and makes it close to you. This is the methodology that I will follow. And so I'm not going to go through each of the 16 topics in detail. I will simply extract that. But I will give references to you so that if you want to pursue that in later on in your life or even now, you are able to do so. So that's, I just spent quite a bit of time this afternoon, and I'm happy with how it translates itself. So we're going to do that. So now I thought I would do as I started to study and think about it on how to communicate this and so on, a thought occurred to me to give each one of you the basic tenets of Advaita Vedanta. That you should really know this very well. And I'm not going to go through the whole thing, just some basic ones. And keep that in mind as you see the meaning of each one of these verses. Vishwam Darpana Drishyamana Nagari, etc., etc. Bijasyanta Rivankuro. So it is simply expressing the basic vision, not even tenets, the vision of Advaita Vedanta. So when we say Advaita Vedanta Sampradaya, what does it really mean? And in discussing this, you will find, as we go through all the 10 verses, many of the challenges to it will also be expressed. So we can see what does the Buddhists say, what did the Sankhya people say, what does the Yoga people say. And it is not to criticize them, but to clarify our own ideas as part of that. Okay, so, but I think, what is it that the Advaita Vedanta Sampradaya is saying should be very clear to you. If you want to give somebody an elevator pitch for 5 minutes, somebody says, please just tell me exactly what you guys believe in. So when one other thought before I go into it, Advaita Vedanta, please understand, is not a philosophy. This you should really grasp very well. It is not a philosophy. At the same time, other schools of thought are philosophies. So ours is not a philosophy, but non-Advaitic view are philosophies. Why do we say that? How can you make a oh my gosh, careless. So, Advaita Vedanta is not a philosophy. Why? Why do we say that? Because the word philosophy, in the way it is used today, really means speculation. It means a theory, which looks good on paper. Or it can be our way of looking at it. That's it. Doesn't mean the truth. This is our philosophy. When you say this is our philosophy, means that we believe in it. You can believe in something which is not true. That's completely acceptable in life. So philosophy is, the meaning of philosophy is that this is our viewpoint. This is what we believe in. And it falls short of knowledge. Falls short of it. Why does it fall short? Because it is not yet proven to be true. Not yet proven to be true. So the distinction between if philosophy and knowledge. Now, one other thing, these are the dissimilarities. There is a similarity. The similarity between philosophy and truth, that in both cases, the truth may not yet be known. In philosophy, it is definitely not known. That's why it is called a philosophy. But even in knowledge, it may not be known for a while. But the distinction is, that's the similarity. The distinction is that in knowledge, under the right conditions, it can be seen to be completely true. This is not true of the philosophy. In philosophy, you can spend the whole life believing it, and then you say, I don't know. We'll have to see when I'm reborn, if I'm reborn. I don't know. Whereas in knowledge, it is a verifiable truth. Verifiable truth. Philosophy is a non-verifiable truth, and knowledge is a verifiable truth. So, if there is a Einsteinian equation, E is equal to mc square, or that really speaking, nothing is ever lost between energy and mass. Either it can be this way or that way. This equation is not understood. It is not knowledge until it is not understood. It is knowledge when it is understood. It's not a philosophy. It might have been a philosophy when he was thinking about it, but once Einstein really proved it and has been verified, then it is not a philosophy anymore. So Advaita Vedanta is not a philosophy, it is knowledge. And why do we say that? Why don't we say that it is also a philosophy? Because it has been shown to be true repeatedly. Thousands, millions of people. Because they have said that once you understand, which I'm going to talk about, what is it that you need to understand, the whole world disappears. Just like the dream disappears, therefore the waking life also disappears. And there is a new recognition of non-dual self, which is unlimited sukham, unlimited joy, so-called bliss, which Swami Dayanand Neverji used to say that. He says bliss is not something new. It just means you have bliss every night. It's the same sukham, it just means it is unlimited. There's no limits to it. So this is the experience which has been verified by all Mahatmas. So therefore it is not a speculation, it is knowledge. So with that preamble about the difference between Advaita Vedanta and others, we should know what the Advaita Vedanta Sampradaya is. So let's look at it, and let's look at that. Okay. All right. I hope I can. Oh yeah. Good. Can you see it? I should really write it in the middle, not on the end. But then I may need the space. All right, so let's look at the big picture. Let's understand the big picture and at least try to see what the picture is saying. Okay? So it is saying that our experiences are an appearance on the self. It is definitely an appearance. Whether or not it's a truthful appearance, we don't know. In fact, we know it isn't. But it is an appearance. This is what Advaita is saying. Others are not saying this. Please remember, with the exception of Buddhists, they also feel that it is an appearance. But others don't feel that. They feel that this is the truth. And the Buddhists then separate from us because they don't have a clear idea about what appears. They just say it is a mithya. But as we have been studying in our Mandukya Upanishad class, you cannot have mithya until you have satyam. So they have not a very clear picture of what satyam is. So therefore the definition of mithya in our opinion is false. Even the definition is false. Anyway, we'll get to the Buddhism much later on in DaksinaMurthi Stotram. The first verse is simply a sort of like a summary of it. So we won't go into what they say, but let's see what we say. What we say is that the world is in a... So this is, you can picture yourself on an elevator pitch. You go to some social get-together and say, what are you studying? Oh, I'm studying Advaita Vedanta. What is Advaita Vedanta? You should have these points clear in your mind right away. Number one, world is an appearance. Number two, this appearance has a lower level of reality than the self. So when you say an appearance, you need to see that the appearance is distinguished from a higher level of reality. And so here, an example which I'm going to come to later on is your reflection in the mirror. So in the mirror, your reflection looks like you, but it is a lower level of reality than you. Both are identical looking. If your mirror is very clean and nice and blemishless, and the light is very good, there is hardly any difference between the of your reflection and yourself, but there is a big difference in between them. You cannot say there's two of us. You cannot say that. There's only one person. So anyway, we'll go and get into that later on. So the second thing we say is that the world, so therefore the world has a lower level of reality than I do. This is premise number 2 of Advaita Vedanta. Then we can say this appearance, the same appearance that we are talking about, the world's experiences, is characterized by 2 things for sure, maybe other things also, but at least 2 things. One is that the world is necessarily external to me. The way I define it, me meaning my body, mind, and so on. This is why I draw the line. We will see that the line has to be drawn in a different way, but for now let's just draw it the way I see it, that the world is external to me. In fact, let's draw the line even closer to me. Any appearance has externality. And it turns out that my body, mind, and my personality is also an appearance. And it is therefore, so really if you want to draw the line not between you and your body and the world, but something on the other side of the body-mind, because you are seeing a scene where your own body-mind is also something which is an appearance, and the world is also an experience. So in both of them, it is common, because the definition is pakka. Definition is that anything which is an appearance has externality. And it also has multiplicity. Multiplicity means that the external thing also must have segmentation. So it must have phases, night, day, here and there, near, far, hot, cold. All those are multiple things. That is part and parcel of an appearance. Okay? Then we go to the self, which is a higher level of reality. And what do you mean by a higher level of reality? So we can say that my own nature can never be externalized. And so therefore, externality and multiplicity are not the gunas of the self, only the appearance. So the self here means the truth, one which can never be proven to be non-true. That's the definition of truth. The definition of truth is which can never be falsified. Never. Under no circumstances. Not even time. Not even space. Nothing can falsify it. That is the definition of truth. So that self, which is the truth, does not follow the definition of externality, does not follow the definition of appearance, doesn't follow the guna of multiplicity. And by the same token, it can never be seen as an object. And this is not unlike you're trying to see something where the methods of seeing are only outside of you. You cannot see your own face. Never. Except as a reflection. And the reflection looks like you, but it is not you. This is a very funny situation. The closest thing you can see to yourself is to see what you look like in a reflection. But you can never see yourself the way you want to see other things. It is not an object. Why? Because you are the very seer. Like you cannot see your own face because your eyes are part of the face. It is the seer in the face. You cannot turn it around. But can be easily seen by having a reflecting media. Anyway, so this is all implicit in this first verse. Vishwam darpana dishyabana nagari tulyam najantar gatam. These are the concepts that Adi Shankara has composed in this verse. Now let's go on to a few other things about myself. So what it means is, this is an important thing to see. The next thing is that any estimation or a conclusion about myself which is based on the external factors is not correct. Not correct. Except as a distinction from the reflection. So, external things can be useful in evaluating yourself, but through the absence of the gunas in the reflection. This is the very famous Brihadaranika Neti neti iti adeshaha. Na iti, na iti, na iti, na iti, na iti. Not this, not this, not this. Through the process of elimination. So as an example of that, you can say that if you look at yourself in the mirror, for instance, then you can say, do I look like this? Yes, you do look like this, what you see in the mirror. But not exactly what you see in the mirror. What do you mean by not exactly see in the mirror? You are something greater than the reflection in the mirror. How am I any greater? The reflection is independent. In fact, the reflection is dependent, and you are independent. If you move your head this way, the reflection also moves. So the reflection waits for you. It doesn't have any independent movement. This cannot do anything. So that's how it is different from. That's how you are greater than the reflection. The reflection can disappear. If the mirror is covered, or it is broken, or it is very, very dirty, you don't see yourself as a reflection, but that doesn't mean that you have disappeared. So the reflection is totally dependent upon other things. You are not. That's how you are greater than the reflection. So yes, you do look like the reflection, but it is not something. This is the lower level of reality. This is the self. This is what I have to see. That the self is never externalized. It will never appear before me. And this is what happens because my conclusion about myself, my estimation about myself, how am I doing, is all based on wrong things. That I have a certain opinion about myself. I'm not good enough to do this. You're very good to do anything. You don't need to do anything. How? I don't get that. Well, you are greater than what you are seeing. You're greater than the world. The world depends upon you. In fact, until you awake, the world is waiting for you to wake up. There can be mass problems in the world, and if you're not aware of it, and Swamiji used to say that, it's a very interesting, very fascinating thing that, it's very possible that your loved one may have met an accident serious accident, but you don't know it. You are in a happy hour enjoying yourself. So that just proves that, if the reality of somebody's met an accident was so much that will immediately affect you, then that's not true. You wait upon the knowledge of this thing to happen, and then you are in bad shape. So anyway, so you are much greater than the outside. This is what it is saying. Vishwam darpana dasyamana nagari tulyam nijantargatam pashyan atmani mayaya bahirivo udbhutam yatha nidraya. But once you understand it, so one other thing here, the dream experience is an excellent example of this phenomenon. Not only the looking at yourself in the mirror, but more important than that is the dream experience. This is why it is created by Ishvara. It's not just a silly thing. It's a very important lingam. Lingam means it leaves some signs for you to follow. Just like, for example, in the village, if the cow which is owned by a person has either set itself free or has been stolen, then it becomes very important for a person to see which direction the cow went. And so the hoof marks of the cow's legs becomes lingam. And you say, oh, this is the way it went. Similarly, the dream is a lingam for us to understand ourselves. It's a very important hint. But we misuse it. We say, oh, that's not important. The important thing is the waking step. No, you cannot cross the way, as we've been seeing in the Mandukya Upanishad in great detail, that you cannot cross your ocean of samsara until you start to take dream very seriously and to start to compare them, contrast them. So the dream experience is an excellent example. So how it is, first of all, it is just an appearance. Appearance in the sense that it scares you, it influences you, you go through it, not an absence. And the second thing is that it has multiplicity and, in fact, in this particular case, duality. What is the duality? Any appearance must have two things, experiencer and experienced. And the dream has it. So the reverse is also true. What is the reverse? Whenever there is a duality of experiencer and experience, it must be a lower form of reality. This is what the sampradaya, this is what we have to follow. This is the basic sampradaya of Hinduism. You have to follow this. These are the lingam. And so we start with the example of the dream, that in the dream, a dream is characterized by having an experiencer and an experienced. And both the experiencer and the experienced are on the same level of reality. They are both equally false or equally true. The dreamer is as true as the dreamt. You cannot have the dreamt unless you have a dreamer. So this is the example. Now, on waking up from the dream, waking up from a dream, I should have added. Yeah, on waking up from a dream. Oh, you want to see this online? Voila, done. Raj has given me this tool. I like this very much. I'll get better at it. So on waking up from a dream, what happens is two things disappear. The externality disappears and the experiencer experienced duality disappears. Both things disappear. And as a result of this, the whole thing looks like it's a falsity of an appearance. That becomes very clear to you. Something happened. Sometimes you wake up in the morning with a kind of like a fear in your face because you saw something which scares you. The other person says, "What happened?" He says, "I don't know, it was kind of like a nightmare. Anyway, I'm up, it doesn't matter. Gone." So externality disappears and duality disappears. So very similarly is to that, and I had to perhaps rearrange all these points. I was just thinking about it, so I just went ahead and did this. So looking at the mirror is very similar to that, not quite as overwhelming as a dream, but as similar. So looking at ourselves, which is called Bimba. Bimba means the one who is real. And the mirror, which is an upadhi, makes the reflection a pratibimba. Pratibimba means a reflection of the reality. Anyway, I inserted that in the middle. It should really go in the front somewhere. So now going back to the example of the dream. So what happens is that the waking state is basically the same. How do we say the waking state? In fact, this is all coming in the Manasa Ullasa. So these are just I'm just giving you a short version of this. So if I may not go through all the points, but these are the points that Sureshwaracharya ji actually expresses in Manasa Ullasa, all these points. That on waking state, on the waking state from the understanding of the waking state. No, I'm sorry, going back to the other side. So the waking state is basically the same. Why do we say that? Because we have to prove everything we say. You don't say accept it. You have to see the logic of it. So as we've been studying in the Mandukya Upanishad, so you have both the Shruti and the Yukti. Something is pointed out to you, and the reason why you should be serious in following that is also given out to you. So the Yukti here is that in the waking state also you have the same two things. You have an externality of an experience. They are not within you, they seem to be outside of you. And you also have duality, which is a very important concept that we are going to build on. Duality of an experiencer and the experienced. You, the person, and the world that you perceive. These are the two, experiencer, experienced. And then we saw that the end game of the dream is where externality also disappears and the duality also disappears. And this will happen. This will happen. That's why Vedanta is not a philosophy, it is knowledge. And my Guru Swami Dayanandji was extremely careful about all this. In all the time that I studied with him, not once did he use the word Vedanta philosophy. Not once. And I find many of his students make that mistake. They say Vedanta philosophy. No. I may not have understood everything that he said, but there are some things that I understood very well. This concept that it should not be called philosophy is very clear to me. And it is not a philosophy because it will end one day. It has been ending for millions of people in the past, unlimited number of people. Difficult, but possible. And all we are interested in is the possibility. And so, just like that, it will also disappear. And so upon the correct understanding, not casual understanding, but a complete understanding. This is where the prefix pra is used with bodha. Bodha means knowledge. Prabodha means clear knowledge, undoubtful knowledge. Prakarshena bodha, prabodha. That's why in the verse itself he says, Yah sakshat kurute prabodha samaye. When that happens, just like waking up from the dream, where both the dreamer and the dreamt disappear, here also on Prabodha, the person with the personality and the world both melt away. So there is a slight difference in between the dream and the waking state. The only difference is that in the dream, in the dream, the duality completely disappears right away. You can't even remember the dream. Gone. And this is exactly what we are studying in the Karika. How that happens, how the difference is, and so on. So the Karika is a much more detailed version of this. This is a more summarized version. So there it completely disappears. Whereas in the waking state, despite the prabodha, the appearance hangs around as an appearance. It doesn't disappear, but it hangs around as an appearance until the fall of the body. At the time when all the karmas are exhausted. But it doesn't make any difference. And here Swami Maheshananji had made such a beautiful, what a beautiful point he had made. He said that suppose you are looking at your appearance in the mirror. And you are confused about the non-distinction between you and the appearance. It is difficult to visualize. Difficult, but not impossible. In fact, if you were to have a lot of alcohol or if you were very young, 2 years old, 1 year old, or if you're an animal, you really don't have an idea of who you are. And you are just purely looking at the appearance. And you forget who you are. It's possible. Difficult to visualize, but not so difficult. That's why I think I've mentioned that before, that parents are asked not to show a mirror to a child. Because it's an interesting thing but most people don't follow it. They're too busy and so on and so forth. But the wisdom of the family say that please do not show a mirror to a child, up to a certain age. And in fact, if you look at the eyes of the child looking at a mirror, you'll see a certain confusion, a certain wonder. What is this? Who is this? And a dog starts barking at it. So anyway, all those examples aside, Swami Meshananji says, so this is exactly what is going on in our lives. What is going on in our lives? We are highly inebriated by the power of Maya. We say that Maya is the most powerful alcohol that you can possibly get. And as a result of that, we are confused about the fact that I am not this. I am what I am. I observe my personality. I am not like that. I think this is me. This is exactly like saying this reflection is me. So you don't have that distinction between bimba and pratibimba. You see? Follow this. So this is what is called complete moha. You're completely confused. Brahma. The word Brahma is used. I'm done with this, so now I can add some more things. This is called Brahma. So Brahma means complete confusion. Not ordinary confusion. Confusion, I know, this happened to me before. Let me see. One note, where is one note? My son was telling me, he said, you better practice doing this because it may happen to you. Is it Play Store? No.
Probably
No, I know, but in applications? No, there's a Microsoft apps. Yeah. Microsoft apps. This one. Then one note. Yeah, we're back now. So Brahma is confusion and Prama is knowledge or removal of confusion. So now follow this. This is very interesting. So if you think that this is exactly what our situation is, in our life, we cannot distinguish yet between who I am and who I take myself to be. We cannot distinguish between them. It is like a person is looking in the mirror and he cannot tell that the reflection is not exactly that person. It is a reflection. But now look at this. This is a very important thing to see. Suppose it is pointed out to a person that you are different than this reflection, and the reflection is a lower level version of you. It is not displacing you, it is not adding to you, it is doing nothing. It is just an appearance. Then will you try to remove the reflection? It doesn't matter to you whether you remove the reflection or not. You will enjoy the reflection. So in the dream, the reflection disappears completely, and in the waking state, the reflection hangs around, but you are not bothered by it. See this beautiful thing? This is the only difference between a dream and the Jagrat Avastha. But for the Jagrat Avastha means you must see Sakshat Kurute Prabodha Samaye. This can only happen if you were to know yourself as being different from what you take yourself to be. This is what we have to do. It is not that difficult. It is entirely possible, but we have to put our minds to it. This is what we are studying in the Mandukya, where for those of you that are attending the class, this I'll remind them, this word Manishinaha is used. And the Manishi means one who has tamed the mind, one who has won over the mind. Because what happens is, if you have not won over the mind, if you haven't tamed the mind, then the mind proposes a question and you go along with it. The mind proposes a question, I am seeing this world. How can it be mithya? And you say, you're right. I hadn't thought of that. I don't know about these gurus and swamis, what they're talking about. But this is the reality. This is the reality. I haven't paid my bills and those guys are coming after me. This is the reality. I don't know what the guru will say at this point in time. So you just go along with the mind. But a Manishi will say, I know. Just follow me. We will figure this out. This is the truth, and I don't see the truth yet, but follow me. Don't question me. And the more you look into it, you find that it becomes clearer and clearer and clearer. At one time, it's kind of like, when the alcohol wears off and you become sober, then you say, my goodness, this whole thing is nothing but my reflection. And then the vidya becomes very clear. So this is the bigger picture. Oh, okay. I was wondering why. How come this clock is showing 7:34, but hasn't been readjusted for the time change? So it's 8:32, exactly 1 hour later. So we can see some of the nuances, some of the details. There's a lot of details to come on this, but this is the bigger picture that I thought that for this class I will say that. So in the short time more, for another 10 minutes or so, and I'll still leave some 15 minutes or so for questions, let me go on to at least the first part of so these 16 topics that Swami Mahesh, these are the work of Swami Maheshananji, and so he has composed this commentary on the Manasa Ullasa called Madhuri. So the Madhuri is the one that has these 16 pointers. And what I will do for next time is to make an English translation, and then we will cover quite a few of these, perhaps not all of them, but quite a few of them. So I'll just read out a few of them. So he says, Atma antarvartinaha jagatah bahihi abhasaha. So just a quick translation, that the Atma is always inside, and what looks outside is just the Jagat. And so this is one thing. Then the next topic is Satta Spuranayoho Atma Ekayanatvam. Means that I am the only source of both Satta and Chaitanyam. Spuranaha means Chaitanyam. So both Jnanam and Astitvam, Sat and Chit. You find that I am the very source of this. Then next one is Advaita Jnana Siddhi. How can it become an Advaita? And all the things we talked about, the seer seen, the experiencer and the experienced, they all disappear. Advaita Jnana Siddhi. Then Atma Jnanasya Sadhanani. How do I get this? How is that possible that I will, looks very strange to me, that all of a sudden I am in the middle of duality and the whole duality disappears. How's that going to happen for me? Then Purnahanta Anubhuti. That this is the experience of the Mahatmas. Then a very important topic, Ishwaratva Jivatva Sarva Atmatva Nirupanam. And so this duality, this lack of duality will come when I see the basis of Ishvara and Jiva. And in fact, one of the things that is perhaps one of the things I will really focus on. I won't be able to do all of it in the time period, but one thing that I will do is to point out that really what you consider yourself to be as a separate jiva is nothing but the expression of Ishvara. You don't have a separate, any separate individuality. It is, in fact, the jivatvam is nothing but the non-understanding of Ishwaratvam. That it is really Ishvara that is making everything happen. Non-understanding of that creates a separate individuality. It really is just so Ishvara, nothing, there's only Ishvara alone. No, Jiva is just a name. Namarupaha. Vacharambhanam namadheyam mrittika ityeva satyam. And so all of that will be given in this point. We will go over this. Then jnanasya swaprakashatvam ekatvam cha. Then brahmanihi jnanavat kriya siddhi. So this is a very important and a very unusual. It says that kriya means that my actions are nothing but an expression of my thinking. So means that the actions are nothing but thinking alone. It's just a form of thinking. Thinking where things are moving, that's all. Otherwise, it is basically jnanam, 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 jnanam. And then it explains a little bit more. Parinama parispandana lakshane kriye. That how the various actions, utpadyam, then etc., etc., apyam, different kinds of actions are all there. Everything is nothing but an expression of jnanam alone. Then jiveshwaratvayoho aupadhikatvam. That the differences between Jiva and Ishvara is just due to upadhi. So just like you have the difference between space and room space is nothing but the appearance of a wall that separates them, when in fact nothing separates it, upadhi. Then mayayaha bheda prayojakatvam. We'll go into that. Jnani drishtya janataha kalpana matrata. Then ending with Shiva Swarupam Mangala Charanatvaina Upasamhara. These are the various topics which are given in 31 Manasa Ullasa verses of the first. So probably I would say, I'm just estimating it, we will maybe take 2 classes, maybe possibly even 1 class, and then we will spend a long meditation. So perhaps what we might do, I'm just thinking out aloud, I'm not sure. The next class we will be all talking in text, and the next 2 classes, and perhaps only 1 class, we will devote primarily on meditation on verse number 1. So we may have 2 classes or 3 classes, I'm not sure yet, and then verse number 1 will be finished. So that's kind of like the plan. So let me say a small prayer, and then I will invite you to ask any questions if you may. Om asato ma satgamaya tamaso ma jyotirgamaya mrityorma amritam gamaya. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Oh, we didn't chant the last 6, so 6 through 10. Let's do that. Rahu grasta divankarendu sadisho maya samachadinat sanmatra karanopasamharanato yo bhut sushuktaf puman pragasvap samiti prabodha samaye yav pratyabhigyayate tasmai shri gurumurtaye namahitam Shri DaksinaMurthaye. Balyadishvapi jagradadishu tatha sarvasvavasthasvapi vyavrittasvanuvartamanamam ityantaspurantam sada swatmanam prakatikaroti bhajatam yo mudraya bhadraya Tasmai Shri Gurumurtaye Namahitam Shri DaksinaMurthaye. Vishvam Pashyati Karya Karanataya Swaswami Sambandhataha Shishyacharyataya Tathaiva Pitra Putradhyatmana Bhedataha Swapne Jagrati Vaya Esha Purusho Maya Paribhramitaha Tasmai Shri Gurumurtaye Namahitam Shri DaksinaMurthaye. Bhurambhamsya nalo nilo ambar maharnartho himamshu puman ityabhati characharatmakamidam yasyaiva murtyashtakam nanyat kinchana vidyate vimrshatam yasmat parasmat vibho tasmai Shri Gurumurtaye namaha Shri DaksinaMurthi Sarvatmattvamiti Sputikritamidam Yasmadamushmin stave Tenasya Shravanat Tadarthamanat Dhyanat cha Sankirtana Sarvattvamatvamahavibhuti Sahitam Syadishwaratvam Swataha Siddhyet Punarashtadha Parinatam Chaishwaryam Avyahatam. So let's do this. We will mark the pauses so that we all chant together. I think most of them are okay. There's a couple of them that we're not sure of. So let's go through them. If you have a pencil, you can just make a mark on that. So in the first one is Nagari, after Nagari. Vishwam Darpana Dishyamana Nagari. Then Tulyam Nijan. So between Nagari and Tulyam. Then the second one, Pashyan Atmani Mayaya Bahirivot Ivot Bhutam Yatha Nidraya. So Bahirivot Bhutam Yatha Nidraya. Then the third one, Prabodha Samaye. And Swatmanam Evatvayam. So after Samaye. And of course, Tasmai Shri Gurumurtaye Nama Idam. After Idam. Then the second one, Bijasya Antarivankuro Jagadidam. Okay. Then in the second one, Maya Kalpita Desha Kala Kalana. Then Vaichitriya Chitrikitam. Then the third one is Mahaviva Vijramba Yadapi Maha. After Maha, Yogiva Yasvechaya. Then Yasyaiva Spuranam Sadatmakam Asatkalparthakam Bhasate. So Sadatmakam. Then the second one is after Veda Vachasa. Yo Bodhayat Bodh. Then this one, let me double check this also. Let me see where. Yat Sakshat Karanat Bhavenna Punar. Punar. So just say Punar.
Sometimes they do Bhavet na Punaravritir Bhavanbonidha. But I don't know which.
So, sorry, say that again.
Yasakshat Karanat Bhavet na Punaravritir Bhavanbonidha.
Oh, I see. Interesting. Let me see.
Bhavet na.
Yat Sakshat Karanat Bhaven na Punaravrittir Bhav. I'm okay with that. That sounds good. Let's do that. So, Yat Sakshat Karanat Bhaven na Punaravrittir Bhavambo Nidhav. Okay, that sounds good. Then in the next one, Nana Chidragatodharasthita Maha. After Maha. Then after that, Chakshuradi Karana. Then Dwara Bahispandate. Then in the next one is Bhantam Anubhati. Etat Samastam Jagat. So there is actually a Sandhi there. So it's Bhantam Anubhati Etat Samastam Jagat. So you can break the Sandhi and say Nana Janami Tameva Bhantam Anubhati Etat Samastam Jagat. That will be good. Then Chalam is very clear after Chalam. Then Iti. Then Bhranta Bhrisham. Then after next one is Maha. Maya Shakti Vilasa Kalpita Maha Vyamoha Samharine. Next one is very clear, Sadrisho. And same thing after that is Karano Upasamharanato. Next one is also clear, Prabodha Samaye. Then after that the Tatha, Jagradatishu Tatha. Then Vyavritta Swanuvartamana Maham Iti Antaspurantam Sada. So break the Sandhi there. Vyavritta Swanuvartamana Maham Ityantaspurantam Sada. Then the next one is after Bhajatam. And then next one is Karya Karanataya. The next one is after Pitra. Shishyacharyataya tathaiva Pitra Putratyatmana bhetataha. Then the next one is after Purusho. Then Bhurambham Cyanalo Nilo Ambaram Aharnartho Himamshuf Praman. Break the sandhi there. Ambaram Aharnartho Himamshuf Praman. Then Characharatmakamidam Vimrishatam. And then Sputi Kritamidam Tenasya Shravanat Tadartha Mananat Dhyanat Sankirtanat. So break the sandhi there. Then after that is Bhuti Sahitam. And the last one is Parinatam. So sandhi at Parinatam. So this way we are all aligned together. After a few weeks it should just sound exactly the same cadence. It's so beautiful. Sorry, still a few minutes left. Any questions that you may have? Yeah.
We had a bullet point, fall of body.
Yes.
Now, fall by understanding or by death?
No, so by death. So there, the understanding is already taken place. So this is what is called Jivan Mukti. Jivan Mukti is when you are no longer confused that this is your reflection. So let it be. Whatever happens, happens.
Yeah.
Whereas Jivan Mukti then translates into Videha Mukti, when everything disappears completely. Yeah.
And another one is Brahm, which we define complete confusion.
Brahma, yes.
Is it also understand something as a different thing?
Correct, exactly. Yeah, Brahma means the incorrect understanding. Taking something which is untrue to be true. Yeah, very true. Yeah.
So when we were talking about the Jivan Mukta, that duality hangs around as an appearance until the fall of the body. Is that duality for the benefit of those around him or her?
No, I mean,
is
yeah,
it
you
for
can,
his own understanding?
No, you can do that. Yes, that can be seen that way. But the thing is that here, the beginning of your life is meant for, the taking up of a life is meant for transactions and so on and so forth. And there is no reason to terminate it. You're right, it will be benefit for others. You don't benefit from that either. You're not troubled. You're not troubled.
Because it would be far more troubling for those around you suddenly.
If you were to, no, not only that, one of the biggest thing is that if you were to die the moment you gain knowledge, then there'll be no teachers left. No teachers left. You can't have anybody who can give you an example that this has been my benefit. You'll say, oh, book says it, and then you die quickly. So the parampara will fall apart. So for that part also. And there's no reason. So this is just a prarabdha karma, Ishvara's prarabdha karma. Let it go on. Enjoy the idli, dosa, and so on and so forth. And if you don't get it, then also enjoy the fact that I'm not bothered as I used to be before. I have to eat some. I have to eat these veggie burgers now instead of dosa. I'm not saying hamburgers, please.
So there were a couple of comments online.
Sorry?
There were a couple of comments online.
Yeah.
Early on, Vivek, Kushal asked, what does self mean in this context? And after that, you kind of explained it. If you want to expand on that, it's the key.
There's only one self. It is, which I am currently calling as myself, which is the Jivatma. But the myself is the same as the self, which is Paramatma. There's only one Chaitanya Swarupa, which is the self. So it is the one and the same.
He wanted to know if he can get the text. They couldn't see very well online.
You know, that's a good point. That I'm going to ask Raj how to. Either I have to type it or just simply. So that is a good question, and I will resolve that. But we'll make sure that this gets communicated in a written form.
We can put it in the notes also, right? You're doing.
Put it in the notes section also. I'm lazy. If I can just simply send this file as it is from here, then people can read it on their own. But yeah, that's a good point. I was thinking of some way where while I'm developing my class notes, I can type it and then simply have that be appeared here. If that's possible, I'll ask Raj that. If anybody else can know that, let me know. But this is convenient.
And Jugalji had a question about Manasollasa that you were reading.
Yes.
He wanted to know what page number you were reading.
So the page number I was reading from is the very beginning, and that is
This is the Hindi version, right?
the Hindi version, yeah.
Yeah.
It's called Vishaya Suchi, and it is Ka. So there's not a proper number, it is simply the alphabet Ka, Kha, Ga. So this is Ka. And then the main page will start as number 1, where Atha Pratama Ullasa Sangraha. So this is the Vishaya Suchi on the page number Ka. Yeah. All
So
right.
the 16 topics that are given in this other book, are they kind of reflect?
You know, I have to double check it. I don't think so. Because these are Swami Maheshananji's ideas.
And this is Sureshwar
That means, no, that is all. Swami Maheshananji also is just using Sureshwacharya's, but on top of it, he has categorized certain concepts which are very useful to know. So sometimes it is called Sangati. So Sangati means the reference. Oftentimes, for example, if you're reading the Gita, then Sangati is being given between one chapter and the next chapter. Like currently we are doing chapter number 6, which is meditation. Okay. Then 3 or 4 verses before the end of the meditation chapter, Sri Krishna talks a little bit about bhakti. But that has to be pointed out. Here Swami Paramarthananda has done a great job of saying this is the signal that the next chapter is about bhakti. So number 7, a transition. So this is called Sangati. So the Sangati has to be provided by some knowledgeable person. We'll say, look for it this way. So this is all Sangati that is given by Swami Maheshananji. It's not there in the basic text. Yeah.
So could we have those 16?
Yes. I'm going. This is what I'm going to do.
Okay.
So this is only in Sanskritam here,
Right.
but I'll do some work. He is actually only given by page number, not by verse number. So I'll have to add some more things and say this Sangati is for the following verses and so on. So hopefully next week, before the next class, I will do so. Any other question? Yes.
In duality, are we under still influence of Prakriti, and in Advaita we are away just the Purusha only?
Well, so one should understand that Purusha and Prakriti are not competitors. They are not on the same level. Prakriti is a lower level of reality.
Yeah.
And so Purusha is there. In other words, for example, you cannot have a reflection without yourself seeing in the mirror. So in that sense, the person looking at the mirror is the Purusha, and the reflection is the Prakriti that makes the Purusha be reflected. So it's not as though they are equal. They are not equal. Prakriti is simply nothing but the possibility of Maya Shakti making others look like you. So in that sense, it's not as though you're done with Prakriti, now you're into Purusha. One was Purusha plus Prakriti, the other one is only Purusha without Prakriti. Yeah. Okay, we'll see you next week.
Institute in Davis.
Uh-huh.
It's called, yeah. So I have to give a talk there. It's a World Alliance of Religions, Peace. And the organization is called Heavenly Culture, World Peace, Restoration of Light.
Okay.
And the topic that they've given me is, it's an interesting topic, defining the standard of truth according to your scripture.
I see.
What is the origin of truth in your scripture?
I see.
What evidence confirms that your scripture is true?
Well, today's lecture you should.
So I've been.
Gives you all the things, yeah.
So I have to go through.
You're stepping on this.
So that's okay. So I've been looking at